I'm Alex Cattoni and I'm the founder of the Copy Posse, and I've been a copywriter for almost 10 years, and I am on a mission to dedouchify the internet. I'm on a mission to rally authentic, heart-centered copywriters who are all about creating community, credibility, and conversions through powerful and precise wording. So copywriting that really embodies brand storytelling and authentic messaging that aligns with the user's values without all that douchey marketing, which is like overblown claims, fake scarcity, using fear-mongering in order to get people to do what you want them to do, a million upsells with fine print that force people into subscriptions that they don't know they're paying for month after month, or just all around hype that's all about getting the sale and not about truly helping people. Yeah, I love that question because I think like so many people, when I found out about the internet and the ability to make money online, it was like what? I didn't understand it. I came from, a very traditional academic family where you really kind of knew of one of 6 things that you could be growing up, right? So you could be like an accountant, a nurse, a lawyer, a doctor. I have a twin brother who's a doctor, and I thought, well, perfect, I'm going to be a lawyer. So that was my plan. So I went to university, did my Bachelor of Commerce in Business with a major in business law with this full idea that I was going to be a lawyer. And then before law school, I got the travel bug, and I thought I'm going to travel a little bit. And I found out about a teeny company at the time called Mindvalley and saw that they were hiring, and ended up getting an internship at Mindvalley in Malaysia to do customer service. So answering emails, nothing super glamorous, but I moved across the world to Malaysia to work at Mindvalley and learned about internet marketing and personal development and just the possibilities of what you can create online. And it was game-changing after that. I obviously never became a lawyer. So when I left my job at Mindvalley, my sole mission was to never have to get a 9-to-5 job, which I think is like many people who are starting businesses. You're like, okay, my mission is to be able to do this and not have to go back and get a job. So I started consulting and doing freelance marketing consulting for clients, and I noticed that every single business owner I ever spoke to desperately needed copy. And really, copy is just words used for the sake of business. So if you think of any business and any time they're using words, which is all the time, every single one of my clients would say, do you know anyone who can write our copy? And I'm like, well, I guess I could try to do that. I like writing, I like marketing, I'll give it a whirl. And it just sort of worked out. So I sort of self-taught the skill, learned from a lot of the great copywriters who have written books and done programs and things like that, and just started offering that as a service to my clients. And that was essentially what I did for 8 years exclusively, just freelance copywriting for my clients. Copywriting is any messaging you see online. So, technically it's not even online. If you think of Super Bowl commercials or, even Mad Men. I think a lot of people, when they think of copywriting, they think, oh, ad executives on Madison Avenue writing Super Bowl commercials, or people who write billboards, which absolutely is copy. However, when you think of online businesses in today's day and age, obviously more and more businesses are moving online. More and more people are moving from in-person office positions to working online. Copy is absolutely any words used in the sake of communicating online. So think emails, think social captions, think proposals, slide decks for, company pitches, anything like that. Any words used for marketing and business is copy. So when most people think of copywriting, they think it's something reserved for like Madison Avenue executives or people writing Super Bowl commercials, or they think the far other end of the spectrum, which is, dudes sitting in their basement writing sleazy copy to manipulate and take advantage of people. And of course, yes, both of those things exist, but in reality, every single business on the planet needs copy in order to do anything. Even if they don't have a website, even if they don't send emails, even if they don't write social captions, let's say they're doing sales calls, or let's say they're doing presentations, all of that is just copy put into the form of a script. So copywriting truly is the way, it's like the secret sauce of business messaging, branding, communications, and sales. And every business needs to understand and see the value in that, but do it in a way that's authentic, where they're helping people genuinely solve problems, which to me is where I think we all need to focus our time and creativity when it comes to copywriting. Yeah, I think some of my favorite copy to write is helping businesses really nail their brand voice. So oftentimes when you think of the word brand, people think of logos, colors, fonts, the visual elements of a brand, which I love that. I love beautiful branding. But part of a business's brand are the words that they use to communicate, and at every level of the organization, right? I'm not talking just front-facing website copy. I'm talking about the way your customer service team engages with your customers. There needs to be a cohesive brand voice from the very first touch point that a customer has with a business up until the very end. If that brand voice changes, then trust is lost, communication changes, people get confused. And so I love working with businesses on really crafting what that brand voice is, which really involves helping them discover and communicate what their unique selling proposition is. So what makes them different? What makes them stand out? What is their core value as a business? Who is it that they're speaking to? And I love to start there, because then that informs every single piece of copy that is written for that business. And I've worked with brands that aren't really quite clear on that, and they tend to throw a lot of things up. Like, I mean, we've all been there where I feel like no one's website is ever finished, because when you have a presence online, you're constantly evolving and changing your messaging. But to have a client where I can crystallize in like 5 words that go on their homepage what it is that they do and who they serve and how they can help, I feel like that's where that shift happens, where all of a sudden people are like, yes, oh my gosh, this is the power of copywriting. And so that's my favorite type of copy to write. And I think at the end of the day, just like anything in the creative world, you can't get too attached, because there are times where I write stuff that I think is pure gold. I'm like, I'm a genius. And then we launch it and I'm like, oh, that didn't work. Okay, let's try something different. So it's getting feedback constantly from your market and from customers, and then evolving that. Split testing is so important in copywriting, because we tend to get really attached to the things that we write, just like any form of artist, really. And I really do consider copywriters to be artists in that way, is you're taking ideas, feedback, research, and you're trying to formulate the most powerful and precise wording or headline that's going to get the desired result. And it can be a lot of pressure, you know? And when I'm working with clients, oftentimes they'll expect you to come in and, you know, you wave your magic wand and everything is perfect and everything converts and now they're making $1 million. But just like anything in the online world, you know, you try something, you see how it goes. It might work, it might not. So you test, you try something different. And it just allows you to be a little bit more curious about the process, as opposed to getting so attached. And then it also takes the pressure off, because you're like, well, just because I think this is great doesn't mean the customers will. Obviously, it's amazing when those things align and the first try, you know, it works, but testing is definitely part of the process. And how beautiful is it that before, testing marketing involved literally running how many ads in a magazine and then gauging the response of the number of people who like called in, or you're trying to test a billboard and you're like, all right, roughly this many people drove by, so we got that many eyeballs on it, but then how many people took action and went to the website? Online testing is exact, it's scientific, you can measure it, and you can get that immediate feedback, which is pretty cool. Yeah, here's the secret. Nobody knows right when they're starting their business what their exact unique selling proposition is. They might have an idea, but the best way is to start somewhere and then get feedback. I have seen this time and time again, where people go to launch a business online and they spend so much time figuring out sort of the who, what, why, and they launch something and it doesn't work, and they go, what? Why didn't that work? And they aren't able to get feedback, or maybe they get feedback and it's not good, and they go, oh my gosh, I totally missed the mark. I love to go into the process of marketing in general with just, hey, I think I might know what could be helpful to my audience, but why don't I just ask them? So it sounds so simple, but I ask my audience questions all the time. I ask them what they want next. What challenges are they experiencing in their life? Where do they want to be 1 year from now? What's their biggest frustration? How do they celebrate? What are the things that keep them up at night? And those answers to those questions become absolute gold to anyone who's marketing online or writing copy. So ask really great questions and then pay attention. I love asking questions through email. So if you do have an email list, I'll quite often do that, and all the students on my list know that, because I'll send an email and say, hey, I sent one last week, and I said, hey, where do you want to be 1 year from now? Let me know. Because I was working on creating a program, and I really wanted to make sure that I was structuring this program in a way that would actually get them to where they wanted to be. And who am I to just guess where they want to be? But the beautiful thing about that is when you ask open-ended questions and they write back, you take the time to then read, respond, compile that. And then the beautiful thing about it, and why I love asking open-ended questions, is because you get the reader's language back in the exact words that they say what they want. Because in surveys, you're like, I think I might know what they want. So you do multiple choice and you're using your words, and then they kind of are pigeonholed into selecting what is the closest to what they want. But open-ended questions allow them to really share in their own words what it is that they're looking for. And then again, you can use that in your marketing. I love social media as well. I very often will do Instagram posts and stories where I ask my audience to tell me what it is that they want next. And that's become an amazing tool that everyone has access to ask questions and get feedback, no matter how many followers you have. When I first started, just like everybody else, I had 0 followers, and then that slowly grew, and I had 100, and I had 200. I've been asking questions from the beginning, and that would just inform the next thing that I created. So I started my YouTube channel in 2019 after being a freelance copywriter for almost 8 years. And so as a freelance copywriter, it was amazing. I had freedom, I had anonymity, I was just sort of traveling the world working on my laptop, which truly is the dream for a lot of people, and it was for me at the time. But I started noticing a lot of really dangerous practices happening in the industry, like what I call sort of douchey marketing. It was just the stuff that, you would never in a million years ever want to show your mom or dad, being like, oh, I work in a marketing industry that sends these kind of emails, And I thought, that's a shame, because as I said before, branding and storytelling and connecting with your audience is so powerful, and that to me is the essence of copywriting. But there is a lot of things happening on the internet that aren't so great. And I thought, I have a lot to say on this topic. Maybe I'll start a YouTube channel about it. And that's truly where I started. And I thought, how long am I going to be doing this for? How many videos am I going to create? I have no idea. But I started with 4. That was my goal. And just started talking about the state of the industry and what copywriting is and how I use this skill to build a lucrative freelance business, and never in a million years thought that my channel would grow to over 100,000 subscribers in just over 2 years, and that I would have this global army of incredible heart-centered copywriters and entrepreneurs who I now teach, and have programs, to help. And it truly, talking about getting feedback that informs your next decision. When I launched my YouTube channel, my goal was to maybe get more clients. I didn't quite know. And I think that's the secret, is I am a strategic person, and it's good to be strategic, but I had something to say, and I believed in what I was saying, and I didn't know where that would take me. But then as my following started to grow and people started asking me, when are you releasing a program? I was like, I better release a program. And then I asked them, well, what do you want to learn? And they're like, we want to learn how to start copywriting like you did. And that became sort of the start of the Copy Posse, and got me to where I am today.